This is the Unspoken Podcast on the Undetermined Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Unspoken Podcast, a cheap seat sports production part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. It's episode number 35. 35 episodes now. I can't believe we actually reached this far.
My God, they're not stopping us. Keep going. Just keep going, and hopefully they won't notice. Hopefully more people will notice. I said that wrong.
Tom Vano here with Nick Federa, as always. And Nick, it's official. The NFL has officially kicked off. We are into the 2017 NFL season.
It has come back, and if you're a Patriots fan, are you freaking out right now? Because you shouldn't be, but it's No, what am I talking about? It's not understandable. It's necessary. Okay, so the kickoff game was last night on NBC. Chiefs against Patriots, and I was coming into this at least thinking, okay, easy win. These guys are gonna, as good as the Chiefs are, they're going up against the defending champs.
I was thinking not an easy win, but a win. I was thinking it was going to be a win.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, it was going to be a win. But the Chiefs ended up pulling off the upset, 42-27, off the strength of 3 touchdowns and almost 300 yards rushing from the Chiefs' rookie running back, Kareem Hunt.
Have a game.
Who is Kareem Hunt? It's good you asked, because I don't know either.
All right, you want some background information on Mr. Kareem Hunt? Okay, I can give you some background information on Kareem Hunt. So he was drafted this season in the third round, 22nd pick. So that's 86 overall. Running back out of Toledo. And he actually, his NFL comparison is to Orlando Scary. And he actually was drafted in the round he was projected in. Hunt's 2015 season was bad. He was suspended for the first 2 games, and then he dealt with multiple injuries. But he seemed to come back with 2016, and now here he is. And, well, I think it's safe to say, I can't believe I'm going to say it, but the bar has been raised on him and the Chiefs.
Well, what is your takeaway from this game, Tom?
My takeaway is, you see, here's the thing, as the game is actually replaying on NFL Network behind me, by the way.
Yeah.
It's funny, it's like, I'm with you, though. It's like, as much as this was a loss for the Patriots, nobody panic, please. It's still the fucking Patriots.
Yeah,
I think this game actually just raises the bar more for the Chiefs and for Kareem Hunt.
Really? You really?
Which is a little dangerous.
In what sense?
I mean, well, I guess now we have to go into the big news that just hit a little bit before we started this. Eric Berry, one of the big defensive players, the safety of the Kansas City Chiefs, is done. He is done for the year due to injury.
A ruptured Achilles tendon, if I remember correctly.
I think it is something like that. And man, oh man, after such a nice victory, it's just such a nice victory. Everybody in Kansas City is probably going so wild last night. It's unbelievable because nobody expected them to defeat the Patriots. Nobody expected them to defeat Tom Brady and the Patriots on a night where they were honoring the Super Bowl win. Everyone was just so freaking excited. I mean, it's like, what's it called? The Final Fantasy Victory Fanfare.
Nice.
And then the news of Eric Berry hits, and well, if you could sum up Kansas City's thoughts in just one little thing after that report, it's this. I think this is going to hurt Kansas City's chances.
It is, and you know what? That's the life of being a Chiefs fan. You can't get a handshake without also getting a foot in the testicles.
So it's like normally I want to say the bar has been raised, but now I don't know if they're going to live up to that expectation.
Oh, yeah. Now people are watching them, and they react to people watching them like I react to people watching me. I collapse. I shrink under the pressure. I'm like a raisin, and they are going to shrink under the pressure. I wish it wasn't that. But rip out the heart of this defense, a pretty good defense, mind you, and I don't see how this is going to be a next man up kind of situation when I don't even know who the next man up is.
Yeah, and it's sad because it's like going back to our little predictions thing. We were talking about how the Chiefs possibly would be competing with the Raiders for the division, but that they might have actually, gotten a wild card slot. I was actually thinking as I was doing my crazy little NFL predictions thing we'll get into later, that, you know what? Maybe they have a shot. If they live up to their expectation, maybe they have a shot. And now as we're sitting here, I'm going through my NFL thing, and I'm like, okay, well, I need to make some changes now that their defense has, just got shot in the kneecap.
That sound you hear, that faint cracking noise, is everybody's computer getting tossed out the window after their fantasy football just got royally screwed.
I mean, I'm in a league with IDPs, individual defensive players, and Barry was one of mine. But fortunately, in the league I'm in, defensive players don't count for much. So I escape with what's it called? Like a little cut on the freaking arm.
Flesh wound.
Yeah, it's just a flesh wound.
Yeah, merely a flesh wound.
But I think this might...
Yeah. Because honestly, you're going to start hearing, especially if the Patriots don't win this next coming week, you're gonna start to hear the cacophony of massholes which is my preferred nomenclature for them. You're going to hear the takes where Brady's done from every single Sully and Bobby in the metropolitan Boston area. It's going to be drowning. I swear to God. Everybody within a 25-mile radius of Gillette Stadium is going to go deaf.
Actually, hang on. Who are the Patriots even playing week 2? Oh, they're playing New Orleans.
And if they don't win by a score of 756-0, people are going to be steamed.
Even though they have a team of freaking Breeze, Ingram, AP, what if AP comes back and, is back to his old self? What if Breeze throws for fucking, 200 yards plus?
And what if I walked on water?
You don't believe in the hype of the Saints.
I'm trying to think of a stronger word for that than no. Negatory.
Okay. Well, don't worry, because a spoiler for the later predictions, I have them going 7-9 and missing playoffs.
But still, this is not. If you're a Patriots fan, this is not the time to panic. I mean,
no.
Seriously.
Listen. I think I pointed this out to you, Nick. Look at their division. It's the Bills, the Dolphins with Jay freaking Cutler, and the tank that is the New York Jets. If they're going to win their division because, the Jets, that's 2 victories. The Bills, that's 2 victories. And the Dolphins, that's 2 victories. All you need is 3 other victories. And I'm sure if I look through this schedule that I can find 3 victories, and then, ta-da, Patriots in the playoffs because they're probably going to be the only team in that division who are going to go above 500.
There will be at least one other team. I don't know who it is. There will be at least one team that will go 500 or slightly above other than the Patriots. But that's still not enough to mount a credible threat to them. There are no credible threats to them in this league anyway.
Actually, Nick, I was just looking at my thing. You are correct, actually. I have to apologize and take that back because when I was going through my predictions, I actually do think Buffalo is going to go 9-7.
Okay.
But still, 9-7 as compared to, a Dolphins team that's going to be like 2-3 wins at most, a Jets team that's tanking for the first overall pick next year's draft, and the Patriots with the likes of, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Chris Hogan, Julian Edelman, Mike Gillespie, who also had a big game yesterday.
How is it that these people just come out of nowhere from anonymously and they just start wrecking shit?
I don't know, but Nick, I'm dancing because in one of my leagues I did have Gillespie and I started him, so big points for me.
Of course you did.
I think it's in that same league that Barry went down in.
But still, moving on, if we may move on slightly a little bit north from Foxborough to Boston proper, and what are we talking about? We're talking about cheating. Dirty, rotten, filthy cheaters.
Cheating in New England? Oh, I never.
Perish forbid. So, for those of you who didn't hear, the Yankees, Brian Cashman, lodged a formal complaint with the commissioner's office alleging that during the Red Sox during the series in Fenway and the series in New York, if I'm not mistaken, Brian Cashman said that one of their
players or something?
Yeah, not players, one of their assistants, one of the coaching assistants was hanging around the stadium somehow and was stealing signs and relaying them to the catcher using an Apple Watch.
An Apple Watch. Now, this is a little tricky as there is really no rule about sign stealing, if I'm correct.
There might be, but I think there's a way to get around it because the language is a little vague.
I mean, I will look up the MLB rule book on sign stealing. Let's see. How do you steal signs in baseball? I have a brief history from SI.com. Oh, that sounds like a fun read. I mean, I don't know, Nick. As we're trying to look this up, from your perspective, do you think sign stealing is a part of the game, or should be a part of the game, rather?
Should be? No. Is? Definitely. And honestly, I'm pretty sure. I mean, not to, and let's not play the innocent cherub people. I mean, the Yankees probably do it too. Every team probably does it.
Oh, yeah, an ad just popped up. Pardon me. But everybody, I'm sure does. You're right.
But yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, here's what I say. Sign stealing can be if it is done right and, you catch on to things. Like, if you're noticing the coach doing something, and you notice every time he goes to this, they do this, then, that's just on the team for being exposed. I think where the issue lies in, as it always seems to be when it comes to sports, is the Apple Watch. It's the use of technology in sports. Because every time we seem to go to a new technology and try to introduce it into sports, you hear all the traditionalists go, not in my sport.
Which people have been humankind has been looking for ways to get ahead of each other since, well, really the dawn of civilization. Since we've started competing against each other, I guarantee you there were athletes in the ancient Olympiad who were using some form of juicing or I don't know, using fermented goat testicles as some kind of weird performance enhancing drug. Not that there would, well, of course there wouldn't be any law against that, but I'm just saying.
Where do you come up with this stuff?
I'm just saying humans are hardwired to hate the people they're competing against and therefore want to get ahead. It's human nature. It's wired directly into the human brain. What makes us what it's about overcoming the urge to cheat and then learning how to fight fair. However, what makes this story unique is not only the technology angle. I think it's because of the history and the history between the Red Sox and the Yankees, and the fact that we haven't really had, these big, dust-ups between the two teams since
the days of freaking A-Rod and Ortiz and freaking
Pedro.
Right. So, you're talking 04, 05, 06. That was the last time we had a big surge in the rivalry, I guess.
Yeah, if it was against, say, the Brewers and the Pirates, nobody would give a shit. Well, people would give a shit, but it wouldn't be a national thing.
But it's a historical rivalry that hasn't had anything in a long time, so it's like this might be the set-off point.
Exactly.
But like I said, I feel like, what's it called? I mean, so now the Red Sox are not going to get punished too much. They're going to get the old slap on the wrist and such, which is probably going to be a fine of some sort.
In fact, I mean, the Red Sox, they made their own complaint against, I think it was a counter-complaint against the Yankees when the story...
it was about the Yes Network cameras, that they used the Yes Network camera
that
in
they
the
were
Red
using
Sox dugout.
The Yes Network camera pointed at the catcher to relay signs back to the clubhouse.
Which, like we said, you're sure everybody's probably doing it in some way or trying to do it in some form in this game.
But cheating is cheating, and it happens.
Right. But the Yankees also had a bit of a blunder this week when they tried to say, he's doing it again with a Red Sox player. And supposedly it was something like a mouthpiece or something.
What?
You didn't hear about this story?
No. Enlighten me.
Okay. Hang on. Let me. All right. So let me bring this up. This is actually going to be from the Post, just because it's the first one I have up. The Yankees complained. Oh, here it is. Actually, I'll give you better because they embedded a tweet. This is from Evan Drellick. He is the Red Sox insider for CSN and WEI. Sources say that the Yankees complained to MLB when they thought Doug Fister had an audio device. Because in the picture, it's Doug Fister, and there's something around his ear. You can't really see it. It's hanging off like this. So I think maybe, it's an audio device. No, for some reason, Doug Fister had his freaking mouthpiece over his ear.
Huh?
Hang on. I will show you the video proof. I mean, not the video proof. I will show you the photo proof. Okay, give me 1 second here. All right, Nick, have a look. I just showed off the photo to Nick. I just shared them.
Are you kidding me? You have got to be shitting me. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely goddamn ridiculous.
What? That he had his mouthpiece over?
I think that's a listening device. It's a mouthpiece. Wait. Doug Fister's got a tattoo on his ass. I think it might be hiding a microchip. He could actually be. He could actually be, every time he scratches his ass, he might be stealing signs. Every time he farts, he's trying to signal something to somebody.
Look, Nick, I have one of those locker locks on my ear. Look, it's a listening device.
Oh no, this is ridiculous. It's like, oh my. I don't mean to. I love the Yankees, but yes, we both love the Yankees until the day I die.
But if this is true, I mean, come on, Yanks, come on.
Come on.
I cannot believe I'm going to have to do this. I really, really don't want to do this, but Nick, I have to give them the wrong buzzer.
And you know what? It hurts us as more than it hurts you.
That was bad. I mean, but sign stealing, do you think there needs to be a rule now in MLB? Because I actually cannot find a rule. I think it is true. It's not in the rule book, technically.
You know, if having a rule means preventing asinine complaints such as what I just witnessed with my own two eyes, then I'll say, yes, rule me. Rule me up. I want there to be 50 different rules. Because that is ridiculous.
The technology, it's kind of like the technology though brings in like a whole thing about ethics.
It's like this is such a level of paranoia. It is. Oh my God! There's a guy in my mirror who looks just like me.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be for it. I'm not sure if I'd be for it. Not sure if I'd be against it. I gotta actually think about it. I mean. I think here's the thing. So I would say sign stealing, okay, but no use of these electronic devices. Like I don't, as much as I just made fun of the traditionalists, you know, technology does give a bit of an unfair advantage. So there's got to be a way to, you know, control the technology. That has to be found, basically.
So you'd prefer them to use like semaphore flags like that?
Well. You gotta be, like I said before, I think you just gotta be good at, you know, recognizing the signs from the coaches.
Or smoke signals, carrier pigeons could be fun.
Oh, you're gonna play
my elbow. What does that mean? It means you're gonna bump.
Well, Nick, I'm partially a traditionalist, partially with this new school stuff. This is something I feel should be a traditionalist thing. You shouldn't be depending on freaking video technology for this shit.
Okay. I'm just saying, I think they're... You know what? I was fully prepared to agree with you, but you know what? Since you showed me that picture, no. Give me a rule. Give me a rule that prevents that.
I love how we were like poor Yankees. I like how you were like poor Yankees before, and now after this picture, you're just like cringing.
I am, because I can't believe, because a blind man could see that. If you described that to a blind man, he would say, "That's a mouth guard, you moron."
All right, you're listening to the Unspoken Podcast, the Cheap Seat Sports production, part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. Nick, let's move on to something a little more not fun.
So, for those of you who didn't hear, Craig Carton of the Boomer and Carton Morning Drive show with Boomer Esiason, Craig Carton just got arrested, and it's not for DUI, it's not for woman beating. It's not for anything you would think. It's actually for money laundering. The man was constructing a Ponzi scheme. Now,
a Ponzi scheme? Doesn't that sound familiar?
Yes, indeed. Apparently, he and a business partner of his, Joseph Melfi, I believe, conspired to swindle investors by selling fake tickets that didn't have to Katy Perry, Madonna, Bruce Springsteen, Billy Joel
names
fake tickets for concerts that didn't happen through a ticket promotion company that didn't exist. So all in all, the two of them and one other guy apparently have swindled at least more than $5 million out of investors.
$5 million.
Yes. And why is that? Because apparently Mr. Craig Carton has a thing for gambling.
So it's a fake company selling tickets for fake concerts. How does anyone buy into this?
It's not necessarily because it happened before. It happened, but just ask the Wilpons.
As I said before, that sounds very familiar, and I don't know. I mean, my God.
So so he was arrested and by FBI agents, I think, as he was headed out the door to do the show, and which left Boomer kind of twisting in the wind.
Did you see the footage of him, on the air by himself, like his replacement or whatever?
Yeah, because apparently he didn't know that Carton had been pinched.
Yeah. And
so
that made for quite an awkward moment, I have to say.
Moral of the story, folks, don't gamble. Really.
Don't gamble.
He is going away for a very, 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 very long time.
I was going to say, that's federal, baby.
That's federal charges, my friend. And you know what? I wish I had some sympathy. And you know what? I do. I do have sympathy for his kids. Because honestly, and his wife, because my God, those kids are going to grow up without their father because he was too dumb he was dumb enough to do this shit. But you know what? Look, my feelings on sports talk radio, and I think Francesa's a part of this. Francesa and guys like Carton, guys like pick somebody. They've really they've really turned sports talk radio into the realm of the stupid. It really has become a joke. And you know what? Honestly, see, I don't want to sound hypocritical here, folks, but when was the last time Craig Carton ever actually contributed something of worth to a conversation, other than just going, "Hey, look what happened, bum! Oh my God, the Mets lost! Don't they suck, bum?"
I mean, I also feel like Boomer was, the bigger name of the show.
He was better at his job.
And Boomer's a former freaking quarterback.
I don't know. What do you think?
I also feel very my heart also goes out to his wife and his kids. I guess you have to feel bad also for the victims of this scheme as well.
I do because they lost a lot of money, and you know what? This is all over nothing.
I know. That's exactly my point. It was a fake concert, fake tickets. It's like literally over nothing.
You know what? I understand why you think you had to do it, but think about your family. Think about your poor kids. Think about your poor wife.
I just don't understand. See, when you said the moral of the story, don't gamble. See, I can't agree with you on that because I feel like gambling in moderation, like if you take a trip to Atlantic City every year, that's not bad.
No, I mean,
this is a case of a man who was obsessed with his gambling, who had a gambling addiction.
Yeah, it is a sickness. I was being a little bit too harsh on that one.
But you are right when it's like, instead of getting the help, he goes and does this whole Ponzi scheme, people of $5 million, and then just, robs people their money, and he uses it for his own personal pleasure, aka the gambling.
I mean, would it have been better? I mean, I've never heard of a sports talk radio host, getting in this much trouble for this kind of crime. I mean, think Don Imus got fired because he said some racist thing 10 years ago.
It was racist and sexist, I believe.
Racist and horribly sexist, and that got him kicked off the air. Imagine, but a Ponzi scheme.
As I said, that's federal, baby. He's going away for a long time. His career is over.
It's a rare beast, is what I'm saying.
I mean, and like we were talking about before, this is not the first time that, even recently that a radio host has gotten in trouble. Freaking Ryan Russillo a couple of weeks ago, which, by the way, he only ended up serving a 2-week suspension. I don't think that was enough. It should have been a month, at least.
Really?
I think it should have been. Because he also broke the law. As much as you're talking Ponzi scheme versus, a breaking entering. He got drunk, broke the law, and entered somebody's house. He was inebriated. What do you think he could have done in that state? What if he had done something else really horrific?
Yeah, say if he'd gotten behind the wheel and then run down some poor soul, then you wouldn't have. Yeah.
Then Ryan Russillo wouldn't have been heard from again. Even some of my friends were saying that they disagreed with Nick's opinion a couple weeks ago, and that they think it was a pretty fireable offense what Russillo did. So,
as Nick was coming from when he said that was more of it's a sickness, and we should go easy on him since alcoholism is. Again, a sickness.
Right. But then he's got to get the help that he needs. He needs to go away for 30 days, go to rehab or something like that.
Yeah, that's a point. That's a point that you were making, and honestly, I have to agree. But what happened with Carton is just so beyond the pale of what we've ever seen. Right.
But in that case of the status, the reputation of sports talk radio, Russillo, and this being something federal, something nobody would have ever thought of before, I think there's no choice. Carton's career has to be over now. The Boomer and Carton show should be over. Boomer needs another co-host.
I can't see any situation where he doesn't spend the next 2 decades in jail at least.
Right, and at that time, how old's going to be Carton? Shouldn't even be on talk radio at that point.
Yeah, he'll be nearing 70.
I mean, how old's Fred Simpson now?
He's pushing 70.
And he's falling asleep on the air and everything.
Oh, but that's what I said when I said he and Mike without Mad Dog have really contributed to the degeneration of sports talk radio into something that really had a place and really struck a chord with people, into something that's basically just a walking meme factory. A parody of itself.
Pretty much.
And you know what? I'm under no misconceptions, because two assholes talking about stuff is what we do.
Right. Well, I'm saying there are good sports talk radio hosts out there.
Yes, there are. But sports talk radio became a walking meme, and I don't think that was it became the people that you would have on and the takes that you would spout, and Carton I think is part of this. He's not the cause of it, but he's a part of it. It became ridiculous to the point of self-parody.
Right. But I mean, there's hosts that are great. Michael Kay, I think, is great. Boomer, I think, is great.
Alan Hahn, Rick DiPietro, Chris Canny,
Dan Patrick,
Kim Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful hosts, but I'm just saying, those aren't the guys that get all the attention, unfortunately.
Right. It's always the Francescas, the freaking Cardinals with this shit now.
But this is exactly what I was talking about. And you know what? Just to top it, I think Stephen A. Smith should, I don't know, either walk down Times Square bare ass naked or maybe punch the Pope in the face.
Jeez. Well, if he goes, then what's his name in Fox Sports? His old partner Skip Bayless should go too.
No, he would. No. He wouldn't even. You wouldn't even need to dare him to punch the Pope in the face. This would make good. This would make good material for the next show.
Jesus. You're listening to the Unspoken Podcast, the Cheap Seat Sports production, part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. All right, Nick. Let's get into it. It's time for the very, very early NFL predictions. So, let's just get right into it. Do you want to go first, or you want to check out what Nick has for his teams first?
What does he have first? Because I want to see what he has.
Okay. Nick Morganson was supposed to join us this week. However, due to some stuff coming up at his workplace, Nick couldn't make it here. So it's just me and Nick Videra. But Nick Morganson has decided to give me his Week 1 predictions, his division winners and wild card winners, and what he thinks the Super Bowl will be. So for his division winners, for the AFC East, he has New England, as you should.
Yeah.
AFC North, he has Pittsburgh. AFC South, he has Houston. I'm a little surprised by that one.
That is interesting.
Yeah, because Houston to me is kind of a 500 team, maybe an iffy kind of team. They can bounce around.
Yeah, it could go horribly. It could go very well or horribly wrong.
The AFC West, this is one where I go, really? He has Denver.
Denver?
I'm a little
I heard that, right? I'm not going deaf, right?
Denver.
Right, I did hear that right. He's crazy.
NFC East, he has the G-Men.
Which, yeah.
I was going to say, did he bring you back?
I was going to say, don't jinx us.
NFC North, he has Green Bay.
Yeah, I would probably pick them.
NFC South, he has Atlanta. And NFC West, he has Seattle. And for his wild, he didn't give me. I just realized he didn't give me 2 wild cards, but he has Tennessee for an AFC wild card team, and he has Carolina for an NFC team. His Super Bowl prediction: he predicts a rematch of Super Bowl 49, New England and Seattle. And he believes.
Interesting.
I'm not sure about Seattle. But he believes by a score of 28-21, the Patriots will repeat as Super Bowl champions. That is his prediction. So, Nick, while I have to check my stuff because of fucking Eric Berry, you are now up.
Okay, so let's begin with the AFC West. So looking at the Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders, I would say the best team out of that bunch. Well, you know what? It's not even necessarily going to be the best team. Well, yeah, to win the division,
it's the team that survives injuries.
Yeah, and I would have to say, before yesterday, it was going to be the Chiefs, but now I believe out of the AFC West, we have to take the Raiders.
You're still going to go with the Raiders?
I am going to go with the Raiders, yes.
All right.
So the AFC East, we're obviously taking the Patriots. I think we can obviously agree on that. So the North. This is going to come as This is going to come as a bit of a shock, and I know I'm going to eat my words.
Okay.
But I will say it might be a two-way race between the Steelers and the Bengals. The Steelers
Nick?
coming up on top, actually.
Nick, you say shock, but guess what? I'm also in the same feeling as you.
So, yeah. So that's one less thing. All right. So the AFC. All right. What we got? The AFC South. It is probably going to be. I'm going to go with. Again, this is where I'm going to eat my words.
Okay.
But I'm picking the Titans.
One less thing for us to worry about. I picked the Titans too. But we'll get into mine later after you're done.
And the AFC North, I will be taking the Packers.
You mean the AFC North?
Yeah. Right. Oh, sorry. All right. I got everything. For the NFC North, I'm going to be taking the Packers. Yeah,
Okay.
that's going to be it.
Oh, wait. Did you
NFC
do the NFC?
Did I do what?
Oh, nothing. Continue. My bad.
Yeah, I think I got them all. All right. So for the NFC South, I'm going to shock everybody
Okay.
by taking the Bucks.
That's interesting.
And I'll have the Panthers as the wild card.
Ooh. So you're saying Falcons out?
Yes. Yes, I am.
All right.
So, for the NFC West, I am going to be taking the Seahawks.
The Seahawks. Okay. I think that's actually pretty fair.
And for the NFC East, I'm going to be taking the Cowboys and the Giants as the wild card.
For you, the Giants will be the wild card. Okay.
Yes.
Actually, let me just finish up something quick here because, all right, so I did spoil some things about my feelings, because you were going on about your stuff.
Well, let me get to the playoffs.
Oh, that's right. You didn't do your playoffs. My bad. That's my bad.
Yeah. So, I am going to say that it's going to. I would probably say based on pure talent,
right?
We may be able to see, and again, fully expecting to eat my words. Raiders Patriots for the Super Bowl.
Raiders and Patriots? Wait. Oh, Raiders. You said Raiders? Raiders and Patriots? That's the AFC Championship.
Oh yeah, for the AFC Championship. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
But, so, I'm going to say that it's going to be. It's going to be a little circuitous.
Right.
But I'm also going to agree with Nick by saying, Patriots and Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
And who do you have walking away as your victor?
I am not going to make that decision.
Really?
I'm going to punt because I've been wrong. I'm not going to take, it's 4th and 1, but I am not going to take it. I'm going to punt the ball.
Wow, Nick. That's shocking, man. That's a bit of a shock. I mean, it's still very
obvious
early.
I'm going to be wrong about most of these things.
But that's the fun of it.
It's obvious that I'm wrong, and I'm wrong, and I'm sitting here in my wrongness, and I don't know anything. But you know what? I'm just saying. You know what? I'd like to at least have a safety valve for my wrongness.
Safety valve for your wrong.
You're up.
Yes, I am up, and I'm having a lot of second thoughts about some of my stuff now. All right, so looking at the AFC North, I guess we'll go with that one because it's the first one up for my thing. And I am also going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers will take that division. I think that they will go 13-3, with the Bengals entering as the first wildcard team with an 11-5. And Nick, more importantly, how fast does, how time flies and how much a difference a year makes. Remember last year how the Cleveland Browns went 1-15? And
yes.
A couple of weeks ago, we were discussing, how Cleveland could potentially be a 5-6 win team.
Yes.
I have Cleveland going 6-10.
That is pretty much exact.
And I had them finishing third in the division.
So it's going to be worse.
I think the Ravens will finish 5-11. The Browns will finish ahead of the Ravens in the division, I think.
My.
I think the Ravens are just really banged up with injury right now. A lot of players were coming back from injury. I'm not sure if that team is going to have a rebound. I think this might be a very big struggle this year for Baltimore.
Yeah, that was the reason why I didn't pick them. I didn't pick them in the playoff picture because I wasn't picking 5-11, but I was just saying if they miss the playoffs, they narrowly miss the playoffs.
Well, I mean this is still one of the more competitive divisions because that's the thing. There are going to be divisions, in this predictions thing, and I'm some that are going to be very competitive, and then there are going to be some that are blown out of the water, ridiculous. So, here's the other thing. The AFC South. I mean, I think that one's going to be, also a fairly nice division. But I am going to give that one as well to the Titans. I predict an 11-5 season. I think it'll still be a very good season for that whole division because I have Houston and Indianapolis as 8-8, both of them just missing the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah, I think Houston and Indy will both just miss the playoffs. Jacksonville will go 3-13 in my view.
I would say that the Texans could still make the playoffs. I think that they.
Well, I have them. I think. Actually, let me get back to the tab I had it at. I have the Texans. Yeah. I have the Texans as second place. I have them holding the wild card over Indy. So I think they'll finish 8th and just miss out on the last playoff spot in the division. I mean, in the conference. All right. So here's the thing. Let's go back to New England because I also picked them as we were discussing about the loss before to Kansas City. Here's the thing, Nick. In the words of my man Woody Page, check the schedule. Fucking schedule the Patriots have. They are playing the Saints, the Texans, the Panthers, the Bucks, the Jets, the Falcons, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Bills, the Dolphins, Steelers, Bills, and Jets. Did you hear the second half of that schedule? That's a freaking cakewalk.
It is. It really is. Oh, my God.
I some of these teams, I'm just struggling to find losses because I don't want anybody, 15-1, 16-0, but 14-2 maybe. But here's the thing. Some of these schedules are ridiculous. Some of these schedules are cakewalk for these teams. I freaking have the Patriots going 14-2 or 15-1 because these schedules are so freaking easy for these powerhouse teams.
So mind you, 15-1, they would have to win every single game.
I know.
From now until the end of the from now until the end of the regular season.
But it's the Patriots. Come on, Nick.
Yes. They are more than capable of doing that.
That is why I have given, like, when I was going through and making my changes, because of last minute stuff like the Barry stuff, I actually, late in the season with that game against the Steelers, I actually gave that win to the Steelers. Because I think at that point, that's an easy cakewalk, for the Jets, that remaining schedule. I mean, for the Patriots. At that point, that's going to be tough competition for Patriots. I think that one will be, they will eat a loss or they'll rest players. Something along those lines will happen.
Yeah, and what are you picking for your playoffs?
Oh, for the playoffs for that division, I pick AFC East. I pick New England. Buffalo, I think, goes 9-7, and like the Houston, and barely just misses out. I have Miami going 3-13, and Nick, I would like to, in my two of my three bold predictions for the year, I would like to officially congratulate the New York Jets on receiving the first overall pick in next year's draft, because for my second bold prediction, I am one of those who believes that the New York Jets will go 0-16. A win for them this whole year.
I think they can at least get 2 to 3 wins.
That's at most.
I know that's not a boast. I know it's not. But I'm not even a Jets fan, and I have to at least say, okay, they're not completely hapless.
Yeah, I think they're completely hapless, Nick. Again, check the schedule.
Yeah.
They're facing the Raiders. They're facing the Browns. I think one of the Browns' victories is going to be over the Jets. They're facing the Jaguars.
Yeah.
I think one of the Jaguars' victories is going to be over the Jets. Nick, I see the Miami with Cutler. Out of their 3 wins, I see 2 of them being over the Jets.
Wow.
I have no faith. I have no faith in the Jets. I'm sorry. No faith.
Hope ye who enter here. I know the story.
Wait, what? What'd you say?
Abandon all hope ye who enter here.
And you know what? Every time a player comes onto the Jets, that should be on the entrance that they walk through. There should be a sign that says that.
Probably is.
But AFC West, if it was yesterday, if it was last night when I was tired and doing this, and after that Chiefs win, I would say the Chiefs. But I think they're going to lose a couple of key games this year now that Barry's out, and all the hype train is aboard. I think the Chiefs will do enough to get the wild card, like at 11-5. But I think at 12-4, I've got the Raiders.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we agree on that one, but I don't think the Chiefs can do. You really think they can win 11 games without Eric Berry?
I think they could win 10 at least.
All right, that's interesting.
All right, well, once again, let's check the schedule. All right, so they got the Eagles next week. That could be some trouble. Chargers, I could see a win in that.
Yeah,
Texans,
I definitely do.
Texans, I can see a win in there. Broncos, I could see a win there. They played 2 NFC East teams like Cowboys and Giants. I think that's where they struggle. Oh, they play the Jets. I think that's an automatic win.
Yeah.
Nick, so as we get to the halfway point, I want to ask you something now that we're going through schedules and noticing this. Do you think the NFL scheduling is a little ridiculous?
Oh, of course. Anybody with eyes could see that.
All right, so over to the NFC North. Nick, as much as it hurts because, our dads are big Vikings fans, I think the most dangerous team this year in the NFL is the Green Bay Packers.
Well, they always are. They always are. They live to screw people, to screw up people's seasons. And everybody in Green Bay is going, oh, yeah, you never have any faith in us. Bullshit.
Right. No, I'm going to have the most faith because you know what? They are my pick of regular season champions. I see the 14-2, maybe even 15-1.
Everybody always picks them. That's my point.
I know, but I'm saying, like, that's how much I believe in them. Like, I think maybe at most they lose 1, 2, 3 games maybe this whole season. And I think they will be the top seed in the NFC. I think they will be the only team in that division moving to the playoffs. I have Minnesota at 6-10. I've got Detroit at 5-11. And then I have Chicago at 2-14.
Ouch.
I think Chicago's going to get buried so bad this season.
So usually they're buried under snow. This year they're going to be buried under shit.
Mm-hmm. NFC South. Okay, this is going to be my pick of the most competitive most competitive division. I think the NFC South is going to be highly competitive. In fact, I have the Saints at 7-9. And then I have the other 3 teams. I have 1 at 11-5, and I have 2 at 10-6. I think it's going to be that fucking competitive.
Really?
Yes. And you know what? Oh, ye of little faith, I say that about the Falcons. I think the Falcons – I tease you guys about that for the Falcons. I think the Falcons will be the 11-5 team. I think they will come through. I think they will win the division.
They will not go back to the Super Bowl, though.
That's the thing. I'll get into that later, but I do not think the Falcons will go back to the Super Bowl. I think they will do enough to win the division, but not advance. Unfortunately, the team that I have eliminated is the Panthers. I think there will be one crucial game where the Bucs will defeat the Panthers, and that will be the game that sends the Bucs to the playoffs and eliminates the Panthers.
Yeah. Because you got to.
It's not so much little faith in the Panthers as it is I have a lot of hope for this Bucs team.
Yeah, I mean, they have talent. It's just a matter of putting everything together.
Jameis Winston and Mike Evans, there's a lot of potential with this Bucs team. I think it's going to finally come into fruition this year when they finally make the playoffs.
They'll make the playoffs. I don't think they can make any noise there.
Right. NFC East, under normal circumstances, I would root for the Giants and I would pick the Giants. Here I'm going to pick the Cowboys, though, because as we said last week, I don't think the Ezekiel Elliott suspension is going to hurt much because, once again, check that fucking schedule. That schedule is awful in terms of that's too easy of a cakewalk for the fucking Dallas Cowboys. I have the Cowboys going 13-3. I have the Giants, however, going 12-4.
Really? That's a little bit too high considering their offensive problems.
That's true. I think 12-4, maybe 11-5, or they can just repeat and go 10-6. Either way, I think they'll make it. Actually, but I think they do need 11 wins, though. I think the NFC, as I was going through the competition.
Yeah, you think you won't be able to get into the playoffs with a 10-win record?
10-6. It's going to be tough. Not because the Giants are bad and not because they're struggling, but because the competitiveness in the NFC has stepped up. I think the NFC is the more competitive conference without a doubt.
Yeah, and again, we'll see. So, the playoffs.
Right. I think the Giants – the thing with the Giants is, and you should know this just as much as me and all the other Giants fans know, they can be 12-4 if they don't play down to their opponents, which they usually do.
Yeah. We don't want – for God forbid, we don't want Case Keenum coming out and acting like a gunslinger. We don't want him playing like Bart Starr. I mean, right. Jesus Christ, that always happens.
And hopefully our sports writing professor from last semester didn't jinx this season already with that assignment about Eli being hurt.
Oh my God, I remember that.
If Eli goes down, I blame him because the Giants will not make the playoffs without Eli.
I'm DMing him on Twitter if that happens.
Because Geno Smith, he's only there to just get punched in the jaw again.
Yeah, or maybe this time he can get it, or he'll get drop kicked and then his leg will be broken, or
Why would you
him nuts? Could be
back up? Come on, Giants. Come on.
He was the best of what they had at quarterback. I mean, what can you tell me about Davis Webb? Nobody can tell me anything about Davis Webb. Davis Webb can't tell me anything about Davis Webb.
Well, at least begin training Davis Webb so we don't have to depend on Geno too much if that happens, God forbid.
Yeah, exactly.
And for the NFC West, I have the Seahawks. I think they'll do 12-4, 13-3 as well. I have Arizona at 10-6 and just narrowly missing out as well. Then I have LA Rams at 5-11. San Fran, enjoy your 1-15 season. No sympathy for San Fran.
You are really, really harsh on them.
I know. So, now that our little things have been fixed up, I actually just had, because I changed some things around, my whole playoff scheme just got changed up. So, here we go. So, for my wild card games, it's Kansas City and Oakland. That one, I think Eric Berry's injury will hurt. Because yesterday when I did this, I had the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys meeting in the first round. And by the way, I picked the Giants in that one. But, of course, since I changed things around, I think Eric Berry's injury will hurt Kansas City when it comes to playing Oakland. Unless Derek Carr goes down with another gruesome injury, I think Oakland will sweep Kansas City this year. I pick Oakland. Cincinnati and Tennessee, that one's going to be a toss-up. But Marcus Mariota has a lot behind him. There's a lot of hype around Tennessee, and I'll believe the hype. I'll pick Tennessee there. So Tampa Bay would now meet Dallas in the first round. Sorry, Bucs, you ain't going far.
Yeah, that is a brick wall right there.
Giants, Falcons, you know what? Screw biasness. Fuck it. I'm going to pick the Giants on that one.
Good choice.
Because I think, what's it called? Like I said, I think the Falcons will make the playoffs, but I think the Horns. You know what's going to happen? As they're taking the field, because it would be at the Falcons Stadium, there's going to be Giants fans near the Falcons entrance, and they're all going to whisper 28-3, 28-3, 28-3. And it's going to
whisper. They'll shout it.
No, but one will get close to Matt Ryan's ear to the point where Matt Ryan will have a spasm attack on the field.
Yeah. If
there's this
skywriter to write that in smoke right above the stadium.
Did you see the Patriots? Did you see the Patriots yesterday with the troll?
No, I didn't see that.
Before the game, they had a pre-game ceremony, and they were talking about the historical comeback. So, for an hour or two before the game, they had on the scoreboard 28-3.
Ow!
They are not going to live that down for the rest of their days.
Yeah, I feel really bad if you're a Falcons fan. I really, really do, because it's bad enough that it happened in 1999. But oh my God, if
it's a Falcons fan, if I like them, I'll give them a hug. If I dislike them, I'll just walk by briskly and just go 28-3.
Oh my God! See, the fact that you can use that as evergreen ammunition against Falcons fans is amazing to me.
Right.
It's a self-opening piñata. It's a gift.
Okay, let's see. So for the divisional round, I would have New England and Oakland and Pittsburgh and Tennessee. I guess we're going to have a repeat of last year's AFC title game for me.
Yeah, you got to go with the tried and true.
Right. Let's see. New York Giants and Green Bay. Oh, no. Well, Nick, I guess we're going to go out in the second round now.
Shit.
Dallas and Seattle. Huh. That's an interesting game that just popped up for me. I think inexperience will hurt Dallas yet again. So that would leave an AFC title game, a rematch of last year between New England and Pittsburgh, which I will go New England, of course. Green Bay and Seattle. in Lambeau Field, I'm going to go with Green Bay.
Really?
I'm going to go with Green Bay.
So it's going to be Packers-Patriots.
I think it's going to be Packers-Patriots. And Nick, no matter, though, if it is Green Bay or Seattle, my third and final bold prediction of the year, the last image we will see this year is Tom Brady weeping on the field, but not tears of victory. Here's my thing. If we look at Tom Brady and the Patriots in their last Super Bowls, they had the Dynasty 3. And then they had 18-1. That was their first loss. And then they lost to the Giants again. They would have more losses in this little dynasty run than wins if in the 2015 game, the Seahawks actually decide to run the ball. In 2017, the Falcons don't blow the lead that they do. This wouldn't be a dynasty run of sorts. It wouldn't be the Super Bowl titles they'd be praising.
They actually have been outscored in a lot of the Super Bowls they played in.
Exactly. So, Nick, I think, especially if it's the Packers, as much as our Denver Vikings fans, I think if it is the Packers, or even if the Seahawks do make it, this will be the year that finally Brady and the Pats collapse. My Super Bowl prediction, if I can actually get it up, because it's still the same Super Bowl prediction as I originally did in the original bracket, is Green Bay 32, New England 27. I am picking the Packers, or whoever wins that NFC title game between the Pats and Seahawks, as the Super Bowl champions. I think the Pats make it back, but this year, all the layers have been peeled off of that onion, and we have finally exposed them.
That is definitive.
That is my definitive bold prediction.
Are we going to put that in writing so we can revisit it in January? Or in February, rather?
I think the Pats lose the Super Bowl this year.
Okay, I am holding you to that. I am holding you to that bold prediction.
But Nick, imagine if they don't make it to the Super Bowl. Imagine if Pittsburgh upsets them. Then my prediction's even better.
God, Boston would explode. Literally. in a figurative, not in a figurative sense. It actually would collapse under the weight of Sully tears.
I think, I don't think the Patriots are going to do it again. And I don't want them to do it again. Is the thing.
They don't deserve it.
Right.
Let's not. Well, that was out of line of me. You shouldn't talk about deserve it because.
Well, no, they don't. As I said, Seahawks run the ball that last play in Super Bowl 49, and Falcons don't collapse as they did in 51. Then Patriots would have lost their last four Super Bowl attempts.
Exactly.
So, the numbers don't lie. As much as the Pats, have these dynasty, how much of it is really a dynasty as it is they're getting away with murder?
Well, they have the wins. I mean, you can't really take that away.
They have a great team, and they're a good team for an AFC title. But that's all I feel, an AFC title.
This year, at least, you mean?
Right. Yes, this year. I think the NFC is really competitive right now that it's like if one of the NFC teams don't win and the Patriots do, it's kind of a shame in my opinion.
Yeah.
With the level that's a competition that the NFC has, the NFC is like clawing right now. Actually, Super Bowl 51, the Pats, the Broncos, the Pats. So they haven't won since the Seahawks have won. So this is 3 Super Bowls in a row now. The AFC has won. The NFC is like clawing, like it's trying to break through the door with its claws. Get us the freaking Lombardi Trophy.
See, I hate that. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
It's like that meme of that guy I forget what commercial it was. I think it's insurance now, and it's like the the Patriots have the Lombardi Trophy, and they're holding it up against on a fishing rod against all the NFC teams, and it's like, oh, you almost had it.
Almost had it. Come on, jump for it. Come on, jump for it. Jump.
And that's
Bark for the trophy. Bark.
And that's going to do it for episode 35 of the Unspoken Podcast. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Periscope at the UDUP. Follow Combat Mania on Facebook and Twitter at Combat Mania UD. By the way, the premiere episode of Combat Mania is going to come very, very soon. I want to start it by at least Monday.
Also follow the Pop Culture Podcast on Twitter at Pop Culture UD. So our Twitter handle is now official. Just follow us because the episode is coming soon. Keep your ears open.
Keep your ears open indeed. So, for Nick Federa, I'm Tom Albano. You've been listening to the Unspoken Podcast, the Cheap Seat Sports production part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. We'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.